All right, this is the beginning of the end. Tonight we're gonna start episode 8. I'm so excited. This has been a long time coming, and this is a bittersweet time that this is gonna be the last time I start a brand new Umineko episode. This is the last of the new content for Umineko for me. My Umi journey is coming to an end. Well, not really, because I think I'll stream this again some other time. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll see. It just kind of depends on how I feel, but I'm gonna need a huge visual novel break after this. I've said that before. I did want to shout out a new follower on Twitch, though I think they're a YouTube regular. No Name Asuka. Thank you for following. You guys should all follow and like and subscribe and give me lots of money, because obviously I'm entitled to that. Sorry, just how I feel. I also had one of my good subscribers. You should also subscribe once again on Twitch. Sid Salander. They sent me a very nice message. It had a lot of Let me see if I can pull it up here. Well, I'm not gonna pull it up on Twitch, but they kind of gave me a nice lowdown on some very secret, some manga panels that like are non-spoilers. Some like manga details. Some things about Sayo's health, which is like important to consider. Kind of that idea of her being furniture. I believe it's referenced in the manga that she struggles to a degree with like intersexuality, or it was either intersexuality or some degree of damage to her sexual organs following her big enclifening. But overall, Sayo's story is such a bummer. I mean, she's really struggled. It's very sad. But I don't know how Umineko is gonna end. And I've said before, I don't think the ending is gonna be very good for Sayo. I mean, I almost feel like Sayo's character kind of needs to die in a way, if that makes sense. Even if like that event with Rudolph and Kyrie isn't really what happened. But we'll see. Oh my god, the last one of these. Good morning. To think that this is goodbye brings me great sadness as well. I have prepared a farewell party for this night. There will be a game tournament as well, so I ask that you participate with vigor. Like Pepper, the difficulty comes in tiny yet spicy grains. Why not participate yourself, now at the very end? So with that in mind, Umineko! This story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Any resemblance to existing individuals, organizations, locations, or incidents is entirely coincidental. Just in case you guys didn't realize that by now. A chapel. Two silhouettes could be seen in the chapel. A big brother and a little sister. The big brother who would never return from that day 12 years in the past, and the little sister who waited all alone 12 years in the future. However, the big brother knew everything, understood everything. And the little sister knew nothing, understood nothing. So, no matter how much time passed, the little sister remained as the girl she had been 12 years before. She remained a 6-year-old girl forever. Her sobs into his chest finally subsided. She quietly waited for his next words. After patting her head gently, the big brother fished around inside his shirt pocket. Then he took that out. Are you listening, Angie? Take good care of this. What is it? What is it? A key? Battler took a large key attached to a necklace out of his pocket, then held it out to Angie. It was large enough to cover his entire palm, and little Angie probably wouldn't even be able to wrap her hand all the way around it. The key glittered gold and had a beautiful, intricate design. Its weight alone made it clear that this key was something very important. Battler put the necklace around Angie's neck. This precious key is yours alone. Oh, yo! Child Angie, yo! Big reveal. Oh, she's cute. She does look like Maria. Oh, wait. That's freaky. There's nothing. What's it for? What's it for? The time to use it will come soon. When it does, you'll have to decide for yourself. Understand? Of course, she didn't have a clue what Battler was saying, but she did realize that he was telling her to take good care of this key. So, Angie nodded, at least in response to that part. In her hand, the key had felt heavy. However, now that it was around her neck, it felt as light as an ordinary necklace. How strange. Okay, let's go. Where to? She had been sure that her brother was about to sit down. After all, just a second ago, he'd said he'd tell her what happened on Rokunjima on that day. She'd expected him to tell her here. On that day, on that island, just what is it that happened? I thought you were going to tell me about that, Odi-chan. Absolutely, and you'll be given the chance to listen. However, to you, it may not feel as though you're merely listening to a story. What does that mean? What you really want isn't to know what happened on that island on that day. So he does understand. After all, what happened on that island that day? Trying to answer that question was all I was capable of, so I wished for nothing more. But, if I could, I'd want to go there. To that island, on that day. To Rokunjima, on that day I couldn't go. To the Ushiramiya family mansion. To Mom and Dad. To all the cousins, all the relatives. And everyone else. I want to go back to that island on that day. So I remain the way I was on that day. My heart and soul stopped, stuck as a 6-year-old's forever. I want to go home. I know. Mom, Dad, Oni-chan, everyone. I want to go home, to where everyone is. That's why I've decided to invite you there. Huh? Your Oni-chan is the game master now. Only those who know everything about the game board can open it up and invite pieces in. So I'll invite you to come on to the game board. You'll take me to Rokunjima on that day? That's right. I'll invite you to the Rokunjima of 1986. Will I be able to see everyone? Of course. Even though my memory is vague and I can't remember anyone's face clearly, You'll remember soon enough. And, though it'll be a reunion after 12 years for you, it'll only have been a short gap for us. Everyone will welcome you. When you finally return from the distant future, everyone will welcome you. Will I be able to stay there forever? This way I can be with everyone forever. This goal that I'm supposed to reach. This is the goal I'm supposed to reach. Angie, listen to me carefully. But Battler spoke in an admonishing tone, as though warning me that this was a dream that wouldn't be granted. The Rokonjima family conference usually ends after a single night. Because of the typhoon that day, the boat couldn't come and it lasted 2 nights. So when the typhoon passes, I'll have to leave the island again? Not exactly. That decision is yours as well, Angie. You'll decide on that yourself. I understand, of course. I don't exist on that island on that day. It's a miracle just to be invited there like this. Just the 2 days before the typhoon passes. Just getting those 2 days to myself is already the sort of miracle that will never come again. If I'm greedy enough to ask for more, that faint miracle might vanish. Even though I thought this, my young heart, which was still 6 years old, wasn't satisfied with such a short-lived miracle. I don't want to leave. I know. I'll be with everyone forever. I'll stay with my family. Even if Oni-chan says I have to head back, I'll stay on Rokonjima. You can stay or you can leave, but it's not as though one of those is the right choice. That's not how it works, Angie. Even so, you'll let me choose? Yes, that's what the key is for. Battler touched the glittering key that hung from Angie's neck. I've already made my decision. You don't have to decide now. The time to choose will come soon. When it does, you must use your honest heart to choose how you'll use that key. You don't need to listen to anything your Oni-chan tells you. You're free to choose your answer in any way you like. However, if you're a good kid and if you can trust your Oni-chan, if I can, then believe everything Oni-chan says. I'll believe all of it. That will lead to the best choice for you. So believe everything Battler says, and that will lead to the best choice. Got it. Thank you, Mr. Ushiromiya Battler. Listen to your Oni-chan's words and believe everything. Can you do that? I don't know. That's good enough. Believe whatever you want to. Yeah. That's also a choice you can make. If I don't believe in Oni-chan, will I wake up from this dream? That won't happen. So don't worry. For some reason, Angie was suspicious of her brother and scared of him. Her wish was to remain on that island on that day, together with her family, forever. She was afraid that once she got her 2 miraculous days, her brother might tell her to be satisfied with that and return to 12 years in the future all alone. I already told you. There is no right decision. You can go or you can stay. That's for you to decide. You don't need to make your decision right now. And no one will force me to make either choice? Of course. And Oni-chan won't tell me to go back to the future? There is a choice your Oni-chan wants you to make. Even so, Oni-chan wants to respect your decision and let you reach it of your own accord. Regardless of what it happens to be. And I just told you, I've already made my choice. And I just told you, now isn't the time to choose. When will it be time? The key will tell you. The large gold key hung from Angie's neck. Her small hand held it tightly. Well, she got it in both her hands there, clearly. But okay, gang. My feet are cold. Yo, wait a minute. Okay, I don't think she's ever really going to be back with her family. I think this is going to be a sad end, everyone's dead forever type beat. That's my prediction. It's going to be like, oh, are you going to choose to abandon this? Or are you going to move on? Are you going to embrace your family's dream or whatever? Nobody's coming back to life for real, actually. Everybody is actually dead. Sayo just killed everybody. Or maybe it was... We'll see. I feel like we got, like, Kairi shit that we need to discuss in, like, Battler lore. At that moment, she noticed a book lying on the chapel's altar. The book had a lock on it and was sealed, so it could not be read without a key. Angie looked between the key hanging at her chest and the book on the altar. Will this key unlock that book? Don't touch that book. His sudden, forceful response made Angie flinch. Battler, realizing he had scared Angie, softened his expression. Come on, let's go. I'm inviting you to come back to October 4th, 1986. Okay. Battler held out his hand, and Angie gripped it tightly. Then they started walking. Aww. I don't want her to be alone. I don't want Angie to be alone. I'm gonna be so sad. A brilliant light lay beyond the chapel's door. That blinding light peeked in through the cracks around the door. The brother and sister began to walk through to the other side. I'm so sad. Welcome back, Angie. This will be the last time. I'm opening this game board one last time for you. Come on, final Umineko LP. Alright, this is it. Yay, Beatrice! Umineko, Nonaku Koru ni Chiru. Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Alright, gang, let's finish this fucking game. This is really nocturning my Truth and Illusions. Yeah! Fall! 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 Once again, Captain Kawabata's ferry boat to Rokenjima cut across the sea in perfect form. Yes. The tale of October 4th, 1986, always begins with Battler's screams. But this time, one thing was different. There was another yell alongside Battler's. Battler was screaming. The other was laughing. Fall, fall, fall! No! Fun, fun, fun! Yay! Battler's face looks funny. Alongside the big brother, who was gasping at the handrail and screaming in a way no one that age should scream, was the little sister, also grasping the handrail and jumping about like it was a ride at an amusement park. George and the others just couldn't hold in their laughter at the difference. I guess Battler-kun hasn't changed much these past 6 years. He's as energetic as ever. Plus, Angie and Maria look more cheery than usual this year. Could this be the first time we've had all 5 cousins together? Whoa, is it? I get it. That explains why it's noisier this year than any year before. George Aniki! This way is too fast, right? This is way too fast, right? I'm begging you, ask the driver to slow down before it's too late. Yeah, this is too fast. Battler's so pathetic. I want to go faster, faster, faster. Any faster than this and I'll fall right off the boat. Will that make you happy? I'm gonna fall. Going by popular vote, I'd have to say that Battler-kun's proposal is rejected. No. Look out, Oni-chan. Look, you're gonna fall. I need this again. Scaredy cat Battler needs to be punished. Pickle time. Oh, wait, stop, Maria. You too, Angie. No! Oh, thank goodness. I was worried about Angie's health, but...
It'd be too sad to leave her behind at home. I'm glad we decided to bring her anyway.
Wasn't she very sick shortly before you left? She was all better this morning. Kids can be so incredible sometimes. She's the kind of person whose health takes a hit when she's stressed. It's not that strange for people like that to get all better when the big day finally comes. She must really have been looking forward to playing with all 5 of the cousins together. Ho ho ho! Just watching them play together makes you feel charged with energy, doesn't it? The adults smiled as they watched the children play around. God, if the real lore is how often I'm freaking like burping and belching with my mic muted. That's the real Pier plays Umineko lore. Angie, who had gotten very sick and who everyone had thought would be absent, made a miraculous recovery. Thanks in part to her strong desire to join in, she had come along to the family conference with the others. And so, for the first time ever, all 5 cousins were gathered together. On October 4th, 1986, became a day like no other. I feel like whatever the move is, like the correct move for Angie will be just to move on. It's about letting go. Yeah, this is all so nostalgic. The kids dashed up the path leading from the harbor to the rose garden. They were probably so charged up that even walking was too boring for them. Whee! Wahahaha! See that? First place! Battler was the first one to reach the rose garden, which was the goal. Apparently, he was trying to make up for the dishonor he had suffered on the boat by proving his superiority on land. A short while later, Angie and Maria reached him in a dead heat. I'm second. Faster than Angie. No, you aren't. Maria Oni-chan cheated. I'm second. The 3-year gap between Angie and Maria was large, especially since both of them were growing kids. It was only natural that Maria was faster, but Angie seemed to be complaining about a shoulder bump at the start line. Maria One-chan cheated, so she gets last place. Teacher always says you get last place if you cheat, protested Angie. Come on, no need to fight. Still, both of you really are fast. Jessica, have I apologized enough to you? I feel like I'm gonna keep apologizing to you, Jessica. Sorry. But I really liked the idea that you were Beatrice. It kind of worked. I made it work, at least. It's been a long time since I've run that much. And the breeze feels so nice. Are you out of shape, George Aniki? You know it. Anyone who has to run the race to make it before the bell every day gets strong legs by default. In other words, being a fast runner is proof that you sleep in a lot. Oni-chan always sleeps in. He didn't wake up today either, so I had to wake him up, right? Stomp followed by a flying elbow. And that body plex from the top rope at the end there just about finished me. That sounds more likely to put you in an eternal sleep. Eternal sleep? Not this episode. Couldn't happen. Sounds fun. I want to do it too. I'll bet Oni-chan sleeps in tomorrow too. We'll wake him to get up together this time, okay? I'd recommend against staying up too late tonight. Shut up, George. Finally, the adults came into sight. The cousins waved at them, urging them to hurry up. Angie and Maria were so excited that they could hardly wait. Just by having all 5 cousins together, just by adding Angie into the group, look how energetic this day has become. Excuse me, the family members have arrived. So they made it. I must let Father know. I must let Father know. Are they all in the guest house right now? Yes. They will meet you here after they have set down their luggage. So does this mean that Canon was just like doing... I find it so hard that... I just want to know how they kept this from Natsui. Because I feel like Natsui would know this shit. Understood. Cannon, please show them the way. Shannon, quickly get us some tea ready. As you wish, madam. Father, it's me, Kraus. It's about time for you to get ready. Nobody's in here, Kraus. Get the fuck out. After Kraus knocked on the door, it opened from the inside. Oh, Dr. Nanjo. How is Father doing? Wink, wink. No need to worry. He's changing as we speak. I think he's just a little nervous.
Who are you calling nervous? I cannot find my favorite one-winged necktie pin.
Okay.
Wholesome Chungus Kinzo. How many times must I tell Natsui? My possessions must never be moved without my approval.
Apparently, Kinzo had been running around for some time just because he couldn't decide on a tie and a tie pin. Oh, I love tie pins. Kinzo, who felt that the dignity of the family head must always be preserved, usually made a big deal about the head's attire being equally dignified.
Wholesome Chungus Kinzo.
Will he make it in time? Do you think you could give us a little longer? We'll come down as soon as he's ready. Understood. I'm counting on you, Dr. Nanjo. Father, I must say, that necktie pin looks splendid on you.
This necktie pin, you say? This pin? Beatrice gave me this pin. The family conference is held but once a year. There shall be no compromise. I must have that necktie pin. Where is it? Where?
Why is Kinzo being a little wholesome cinnamon roll? I really hate this. Kinzo-san, you already looked in that drawer 5 seconds ago. Besides, you own several splendid necktie pins. Is it not stylish to select something fitting to match fate's whims?
You think so? So I don't need to use the one-winged eagle pin?
As Kraus watched Nanjo calm Kinzo down, he started finding it hard to believe that this doctor wasn't his own mother. What door? Okay, whatever. Well, it was always like this. He always makes a fuss when no one's looking, but when the time comes, he makes his decision with pride. After asking Nanjo to come down by lunch at the latest, Kraus snuck out of the study. Oh, my real wholesome cinnamon roll, Goda, who I now love and have no hatred towards.
What do you think? A splendid aroma, is it not? And a unique one as well.
I've never had pumpkin tea before. I have, actually. That little touch of sweetness makes it delicious. As one step in preparing the tea for the guests, Goda let Shannon try a bit first. Until then, Shannon had thought it would be outrageous for a servant such as herself to drink the same thing as the family and their guests. However, according to Goda, that kind of thinking was a mistake. One must not serve something if one does not know the taste beforehand. For example, when you visit a restaurant and a dish you've never heard of catches your eye, what are you likely to ask the waiter? How does this dish taste, correct? I see. So if the waiter says that he's never eaten it before, that would seem a bit odd. Precisely. As a matter of course, anyone serving their customers must be deeply acquainted with the taste of the tea and the food they serve. Ho ho ho! And you don't always feel happier serving a... Why did I just make her Irish for a second? Okay. And you always feel happier serving a sort of tea that you've tried and enjoyed for yourself. There we go. That's how Kumasawa sounds. That's right. After tasting tea this delicious, I can't wait to let everyone else try it. And because of that, we servants must be very familiar with the tastes of all sorts of foods, yes? That's why sampling food whenever I can is part of my job description. Ho ho ho.
It's a perk as well as our job. Do you understand?
Yes.
Everything is proceeding smoothly. Are there any problems with the tea? Oh, Genji-san, you must try some as well. Seeing as it's almost Halloween, I decided to make some pumpkin tea. Later, perhaps. The family will be arriving at the mansion very soon. It looks like it's time for a new voice for Genji. It looks as though the children will be joining in.
Yes, sir. The cups are ready to go as well. Mushy mush. At that moment, the kitchen's extension line started to ring. Genji, who was standing right beside it, swiftly picked up the receiver before the second ring. Shannon and the others always thought Genji looked like a samurai when he did this. I love that, it's great writing.
Mushy mush. Understood. Take care when guiding them.
After giving that short response, Genji set the receiver down. That was canon. Sure, buddy. The relatives will be here shortly. The children are with them. Shannon, Kumasawa, go to serve them. Goda, hurry up with that tea. Yes, sir! The family conference. It was the largest event of the year for the servants. They were all excited and determined to make it through together once again this year. Blah, blah, blah.
Breeding is hard. Kraus-sama, I have led the relatives here. Oh, there you are. Were there any troubles on your trip here? Nissan, you've been doing pretty well for yourself lately, haven't you? Isn't it about time you bought a private jet? After all, no one was in the plane but the family, as usual. I'm glad. Angie-chan made it. I'm glad Angie-chan made it. I was worried when I heard she was too sick to come. Thanks for your concern. She suddenly got all better this morning. My tummy ache went away. I rubbed my tummy clockwise. Oh, that's so cute. Ugh. That's a magical ritual to heal tummy aches. Oh, that's so cute. Now, Maria, quiet down. Oh, is that Battler-kun? You've grown so big. It's been 6 years, hasn't it? You've grown splendidly. Well, I do keep getting bigger, at least. Can't really say that about his guts, though. I'm just happy to learn that he's still the same old Battler-kun. Wahahaha. Battler may be a bit bigger, but he's still Battler. This brat's always been terrified of falling off planes and boats and stuff. That must be a Sumu-san's blood, right? When he was a kid and we went to the theme parks, we always went on some of the wilder rides. That's probably what did it. That's what my dad fucking did. Now I don't go on rides. Don't they have height restrictions for those? No, I don't mean that kind. You know, those paddle boats and teacup rides. What? Okay, Battler, whatever. Looks like we took those a bit too rough back in the day. I like to imagine, like, Rudolph spinning the teacups at, like, Mach 5 speed while Battler is just, like, there for the ride. You've always gone a bit overboard on rides like that, Rudolph Nissan. I see. Poor Battler-kun. Poor Battler-kun indeed. I used to give him a voice where I was just like constantly sucking through my teeth. Yeah, I'm Kraus. That's what I used to make him sound like for like a couple streams, but I didn't like it. That's why I pitched it. Still, it's comforting in a way. Even after all this time, nothing says Battler-kun like a fear of riding things. I feel like Battler's just really afraid of riding white horses, personally. I feel like that's his real biggest fear. Oni-chan isn't scared of riding things. He's just scared of falling off them. Fall! Hey, stop running around. Maria, you're one of the big cousins now, right? Set a good example. Pardon me. I've brought some tea for everyone. A pleasant aroma followed Shannon as she came into the room, pushing a serving cart. Even Angie and Maria, who had been running around in circles, sat down obediently when they heard that drinks were here. By the way, what's Dad doing? He should be down here soon. He's been rushing about all morning trying to choose a tie. You mean all that about choosing an attire suitable for the family head? Father's always been picky about ties, hasn't he? I love wearing ties. That always makes me excited. It's just something he has a passion for. Staying stylish is a good thing. And yet he always shows up wearing the same tie in the end. The family members burst out laughing. The sweet scent of Goda's specially made pumpkin tea spread throughout the parlor, and the calm atmosphere grew more cheery and excited. Look, Mama! Look, Mama! It's a pumpkin cookie for Halloween! Oh, that's right. This sweet scent is kabocha, isn't it? That's right. Today we have some special pumpkin-flavored tea for you to try. It really is delicious, so I suggest you try some without sugar first. Nason, watch your sleeve. Wow. So kabocha tea actually does exist. I think it's an interesting detail that Shannon and Cannon are both together in the same room as Battler. That really tells you that this is all fan fiction. And that's how I'm gonna perceive this freaking episode. It's fan fiction. Oh god, that's really sad. Okay, let's not think about it all that much right now. Let's keep enjoying the good times and not pretend like this is all real and actually what happened. Goto-san really did his homework. Delicious. This is excellent. You can taste the kabocha's natural sweetness. Kabocha tea, huh? Still, kabocha always tastes best in tempura. Ugh. It's pumpkin, not kabocha. Yeah, pumpkin is different from kabocha. This is pumpkin. Maria seemed to think the English word was more fitting for Halloween. Is kabocha the Japanese word for pumpkin? Panpukin. Never mind. Kabocha. Oh, kabocha is just like an acorn squash. Oh, it's a Japanese squash. Okay. Cool. So they are different things, somewhat. But they're both squashes, so it's like a neither here nor there thing. Everyone laughed, but Angie, not knowing why she was being laughed at, cocked her head to one side discontentedly. Just when it looked like she was about to get in a bad mood and start grumbling, Maria started teaching her a cookie game, and Angie immediately became engrossed with that distraction. It's cute, we love that. Then, the sound of approaching footsteps drifted in from the hallway. When the relatives realized whose footsteps those must be, they straightened up. Ooh, I'm also gonna straighten up. No more slouching. Those quick footsteps stopped for a moment just outside the parlor door, as though someone was taking a deep breath and setting up a dramatic pause. Then, the door exploded open as Kinzo yelled out loud, with Genji and Nanjo standing behind him.
Happy Halloween! And trick or treat!
Trick or treat! The cousins shouted it back. The adults returned to the greeting too, looking embarrassed and refusing to meet his gaze. Angie alone stood there with her mouth open, unable to comprehend what had just happened.
Welcome, my grandchildren. If you don't give me a treat, I shall trick you.
Go ahead, Maria. Happy Halloween, grandfather! I got you a really incredible one this year. You'll be surprised. I really wish I could see more Kinzo and Maria, because I feel like they would have had a really cool dynamic. Maria picked up a present that had been hidden behind a sofa. Come to think of it, all of the relatives were now holding similar packages. Why? Come on, Angie, you too. Give this to grandfather. Kyrie handed Angie a neatly wrapped present.
Oh, Maria, you're always so thoughtful. Grandpa's so happy.
As Kinzo took Maria's present, a smile broke out across his face, and he rubbed his cheek up against it. Why is Kinzo a wholesome cinnamon roll this episode?
Master?
Your dignity.
Oh, that's right. You have pleased your grandfather greatly, my granddaughter. In return for the treat you have given me, I promise not to trick you at all this coming year.
Now it's your turn, grandfather. If you don't give me a treat, I'll prank you.
Indeed, I'm well aware. Genji.
Here. Genji fished through something that looked like Santa Claus's sack and pulled out a present addressed to Maria, handing it over to Kinzo.
Here you go, Maria. Here's your present from me. I'm warning you, it's so cute. Such a waste to give it up to you.
Master Dignity.
This is a present from the Ushiramiya family head to Maria. It is a cute... an item worthy of the Ushiramiya family's dignity and grace. Take good care of it.
Thank you, grandfather. I love you.
Oh, oh, Maria, my adorable granddaughter.
By this point, even Genji had to give up on Kinzo's dignity. Still, the dignity of the family head had lasted a full 10 seconds longer than usual this year. Happy Halloween, grandfather. This is from me. Happy Halloween. This one's mine. I hope you like it.
Ooh, George, Jessica. I must thank you once again this year. I'm so happy.
With tears streaming down his face, Kinzo hugged George and Jessica.
Oh, and Battler too. I'm so glad you've returned to the family. It's been lonely without you these 6 years.
Anyway, happy Halloween. Not sure if you'll like it, though.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Battler. I know you have things you want to say, things you want to ask. But now is not the time.
Grandfather,
I am glad that you have returned to the Ushiramiya family. It makes me feel happy.
slowly Kinzo moved forward and hugged Battler. What the fuck is going on? Battler drew back at first, but then he understood Kinzo's feelings and hugged him back. Angie watched this scene play out, shocked. Me too. Was Ushiramiya Kinzo always this kind of person? No.
Angie, you're up. You're up.
Go on, give it to grandfather. Okay. Angie didn't have a clue what was going on. She took the present her mother had given her and walked forward timidly. Kinzo's face, which had looked so cheery a second ago, suddenly became as stern as soon as Angie stepped forward. No, it didn't become stern. That expression was the one always worn by Kinzo inside Angie's mind. This was Ushiramiya Kinzo. He was fickle, short-tempered, and always wore a stern expression on his face. This was the most terrifying person in the Ushiramiya family.
Ellipses.
It felt as though the world went suddenly quiet, and it only did it when I stepped forward. Why? Why only for me? But isn't this how it should be? Isn't this the Ushiramiya Kinzo I expect? The Ushiramiya Kinzo I understand? I was like a puppet, carrying a tea tray, but my strings were not cut. I walked forward, bewildered, with the present held out in front of me and stopped in front of Kinzo. Without letting his expression change in the slightest, Kinzo slowly reached out and touched the present.
Angie!
What the fuck? Why? No more wholesome cinnamon roll Kinzo. I'm so fucking sick and tired of it. He does not get this shit at this point. He does not deserve this at all.
Angie!
In an instant, Angie was caught up in a firm embrace, present and all. Kinzo's white beard rubbed against her cheek.
Grandpa is so happy. I'm so glad to be blessed with such lovely grandchildren. I feel happy.
Kinzo, if he actually was appreciative.
So happy the tears just won't stop.
Master, your nose is running. That and your dignity.
Oh, Genji, forgive me.
As the old man blew his nose, he didn't look like he could possibly be anyone other than a kindly grandpa overcome with tears at his grandchildren's gifts.
Ah, thank you, Angie. I heard that you chose to come even though you weren't feeling well at all. I'm so glad. Here, this is for you.
He pressed a large gift box to Angie's chest. She finally realized that all of Kinzo's presents were wrapped differently in boxes of different sizes. I wonder what he got you, Angie. I hear that grandfather always personally chooses what he'll give each one of us. Pretty incredible with all these people. He picks them himself every year. He does. What, every year? He picks what himself? That this bizarre ceremony happens every year. The cousins were all happily chattering away about what their Halloween presents would be this year. Maria came up to Angie and suggested that they all compare the weights of their presents. But for some reason, Angie just stared blankly. After that, the adults also handed their presents to Kinzo one by one, receiving a gift in return, along with considerate words about their health and questions about how they'd been doing recently. Oh my god, my indigestion is so bad. What the fuck? Okay, we're fine. Then, after watching to see that all exchanges had been completed, Goda appeared and announced that lunch was ready.
Ah, is it ready? Come, ladies and gentlemen. Let us enjoy the splendid lunch that Goda has prepared for us. Quickly, to the dining hall.
This is like the first time Kinzo is like actually being a grandfather. But it's not real. It's so sad. This way, everyone. Follow me. We will carry your presents to your room in the guest house. Please, feel free to leave them here as you leave for lunch. The relatives stood up, leaving their presents where they lay on tables and sofas, and followed Kinzo out of the parlor. Ugh. Only Angie remained standing there, stunned, as she clutched the present Kinzo had given her. Goda's lunches had never betrayed expectations before. When Hideyoshi said that these meals were the only reason anyone ever came to these family conferences, everyone laughed and nodded. The delicious food caused conversations to erupt all over the room. You've gotten so big. How have you been lately? Pretty good. It was a fun meal, with everyone asking about each other about the latest and laughing together. The Ushiramiya family sat at meals in a specific ranked seating order. So the adult siblings, the cousins, and the spouses all sat in groups. So conversations sprung up naturally. And Angie had withdrawn slightly from the cousins' chat and was looking around the dining hall. What are Kinzo and the adult siblings doing? Their conversations seemed to be so peaceful and fun. Most of the time, the siblings were mothers or fathers of their own households. However, when they gathered together by themselves in front of Kinzo, that burden was lifted from their shoulders, and they became young and bright as though they'd gone back to being kids again. Rudolph, who was usually An easygoing father who nonetheless had a sense of dignity became so bright and cheery in this group that it almost looked like there was another battler. Even Kinzo looked peaceful and relaxed. He didn't say a word about money or the inheritance. In fact, he didn't even insult his children or call them incompetent. He just looked like a happy old man, genuinely pleased to have his whole family together for the only time this year. The group of spouses was just as harmonious. The mothers kept bringing up problems of education and household manners, as well as family health issues. Like any family gathering, that shit comes up. Hideyoshi and Nanjo happily joined in on their conversation. And what about the cousins? There was no way such an enjoyable meal with such a fun group of friends could fail to be so raucous. Maria was in her element, showing off her knowledge of Halloween trivia. George and Jessica would nod in understanding. Battler would say something stupid, and Maria would laugh at him. If I wanted, I could easily join in on that conversation. Yay. And if the dessert caught my attention, I could easily slip out of the conversation too. It was happiness, both fun and natural. I felt like waking up from a daydream to be greeted by the rays of the springtime sun.
According to the weather report, we can expect a big storm sometime tonight. It's supposed to be a typhoon. Looks like we'll be stuck here for more than one night again. I do not mind in the least. You may stay here as long as you wish. If it would mean seeing my adorable grandchildren's faces more, I would pray for rain every day.
Give us a break. We do have work to get back to. Why don't you leave the island, Father? That way you could see your grandchildren whenever you wanted. True. Living on a remote island may have a sense of majesty, but haven't you had your fill of it?
It's too noisy in the city. I much prefer a quiet island, with no one on it but my family. I like it here.
But on Rokonjima, if something happens, it would take time for a doctor to arrive. I agree. At your age, I think you should at least consider moving to Nijima.
I am old now. I want to live in peace, surrounded only by my family. And I am satisfied. I have this island to make that dream of mine come true.
Father.
It seems I've gotten you all down. Ladies and gentlemen, this ends Goda's lunch. Grandchildren will probably be raining constantly starting tomorrow. Now is your last chance to see clear skies. Why not enjoy the flowers and then take a walk on the beach?
That sounds good. Okay, everyone, let's go. Ugh, I want to see the flowers and walk on the beach. We can collect shells and collect glass, too. Collect glass? That, sounds a bit dangerous. Fragments of glass get washed by the waves and become round, beautiful gems which drift to the shore. Did you forget, Battler? Remember how we used to pick them up together? Oh, were those glass fragments? I just always thought they were pretty stones. Have you ever seen a glass gem, Angie? No. Then let's go. I'll show you. Let's go, let's go. But the first to see them gets to keep them. I'm gonna get them all. Whee! In that case, I'm not gonna lose either. Let's see who can find the prettiest, biggest glass gem. All right. At times like this, why not be a kid? I'm not gonna lose either. Then we'll head down to the beach.
Indeed. Take it easy and enjoy your time together, grandchildren.
The cousins rose from their seats and noisily left the dining hall. Maria grabbed Angie's hand and dragged her along. However, Angie's expression was vague and absent-minded. The opposite of Maria's full smile. Umineko no Naku Koro ni Chiru, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. This is too happy and wholesome. And I'm gonna go get some more water. And by more water, I just mean I'm gonna get water. Because I really don't fucking have any more water. Actually, I might tinkle as well. Okay, be right back. Actually, for real. Whee! Oh god, I freaking hate when my freaking Nocturne has truth and illusions. The cousins walked along the beach, playing in all kinds of ways. Oh wait, let's actually turn off the text to Bob. Yep. Playing in all kinds of ways. They searched for bits of glass, polished by the waves to become small and gem-like. They caught up on the news of each other's lives and joked around. They wrote words in the sand. They chased the receding waves and ran away from the coming ones. The cousins enjoyed the time they had to themselves. Get back here, Maria! You won't get off easy this time! Whoa. Dude, this dude got stream booed bad. Banned. How do I close out of this? Oh, doesn't matter.
No way, no way! You'll get hurt if you fall. Be careful, you two. Feels like the wind's gotten stronger. Maybe we should head back soon. You're right. I think the sky's getting cloudier, too. Battler-kun, Maria-chan, I think we should call it a day and head back to the guest house for the time being. Ugh. No way. I want to play more. Hey, don't ignore your cousin. Okay, that's all for now. Here, I'll give you my glass gem. Ugh. Really? Oh, thank you, Battler. Now I have the most, so I win. Angie, are you okay? Yeah. What's wrong, Angie? You look a little down. She's just tired out. Come on. Let's all head back together. Angie's expression probably did look tired. I need to hit deny on that too. Okay. However, Battler alone thought he saw something else in it. What's wrong? Can you tell me? It's nothing. She said that, but something in her expression showed that she was unsatisfied for some reason. Since Angie didn't say what it was and Battler couldn't think of anything, he was unable to guess anymore. So he squeezed her small hand, silently letting her know that she could tell him whenever she was ready. Aww. Aww. This is so doomed. Even though it had seemed like such a bright, sunny day a second ago, the sky turned gray, and the winds started to feel more annoying than pleasant. If they waited around, they would probably see scattered raindrops as well soon. I guess it'll be raining the whole time from now on. What a pain. Still, even though it didn't last long, it was fun to be a kid again. Unlike me, who just dates people I think are children. I can't wait to show Mama this glass gem. Oh, I'm gonna tell her I won. Even though you only won because I gave you mine. Ugh. I got it, so it's mine. So I won. Ugh. Angie walked distractedly, pulled along by her brother. George and the others thought that she had probably woken up too early and was tired, so they didn't try to talk to her much. As they reached the end of the forested path, the rose garden lay before them. They could see strong winds making the rose bushes wave. They gyred and gimbled in the wave. Mama, look! I won! Maria ran forward, waving her hands about and yelling. It looked as though Rosa was waving to them from the front of the guest house. I'm gonna head back to my room for a sec. I'll meet you in the cousin room right after. Okay, got it. See you later then. Jessica ran off in the direction of the mansion. George turned around as though suggesting that they had better get going too. However, when he saw Angie standing still with a crabby look on her face, he realized that something might have put her in a bad mood. Is everything okay? Yeah, she's fine. Sorry, but would you mind going ahead of us? Sure. Got it. See you later. George headed off for the guest house. The only ones left in the rose garden were Battler, who was waving at George, and Angie, who was still staring at the ground and holding Battler's hand. For the past few minutes, he had repeatedly asked Angie what was wrong. He realized that this wasn't anything like a stomach ache or something obvious that made her grumpy. However, young girls sometimes get upset for reasons that only they can understand. Battler knew this, so he didn't rush her in any way, and continued to gaze around the beautiful rose garden, holding her hand. Oni-chan, what is it? Where are we?
She asked the question as though she was talking about something on the other side of the silver screen. I think she's on the regular side of the screen. I don't like where this is going. I feel like this is going to be like the depressing moment. Though Battler understood what that question meant, he played dumb. Where are we? We're on Rokenjima, right? You're wrong. No, I'm not. How is this Rokenjima? It's the Rokenjima of October 4th, 1986. The Rokenjima you've wanted to see for so long. That's a lie. Why do you say that? This is totally fake. Angie wrenched her hand from her brother's grip. That hand hit a rose and sent flower petals flying. I don't lie. How is this supposed to be the truth? And she spat those words out. However, Battler's expression remained calm and composed. What don't you like about it? Ushiramiya Kinzo, for example. He wasn't anything like that, right? What grandfather wouldn't smile when he's been reunited with his grandchildren after a long time? Ushiramiya Kinzo wasn't that kind of person. Ushiramiya Kinzo was strict, discontented, short-tempered, and quick to anger. So you do understand. What was all that back there? How was that supposed to be Ushiramiya Kinzo? Halloween, exchanging presents. What the hell was that? That's nothing like Ushiramiya Kinzo. This is nothing like Rokenjima. Don't you remember, Angie? Remember what? We did that every year, didn't we? Every year? That? Well, I guess it's no surprise. The last time you went to a family conference, you were less than 6 years old. So it's only natural that you wouldn't remember. It's only natural that I don't remember? Angie understood what her brother was trying to say. However, she couldn't accept it. It's true that Ushiramiya Kinzo was a rigid man. When he was younger, he really was strict with his kids, apparently. And well, it's probably not wrong to say it was pretty traumatic for Dad and the others, in that they're still a bit scared of him. The grand tale of how Kinzo restored the Ushiramiya family was more than enough to paint him as a rigid, terrifying man. Furthermore, Kinzo was an investor. All the legends and tales that made him seem more mysterious had probably worked in his business's favor. At times, Kinzo may have even acted out this part people expected, endeavoring to make his presence all the more overpowering. That's why the world at large spoke of Ushiramiya Kinzo as a strict, short-tempered man. And they even thought of him as a fickle, bold, incomprehensible eccentric. But that was just the face grandfather showed to the world. That's not how he acted in private, alone with his family. Are you saying that weeping old man who doted on his grandchildren is the real Ushiramiya Kinzo? He must have played with you and patted your head many times. Do you really not remember? Stuff like that might have happened once or twice, but that must have been a mere whim of his. My parents told me all the time. Grandfather is a terrifying person, so make sure you act properly. They always said that he's very scary, so take care. And that means he was a scary person. When you were little, you would always accept whatever your parents said and take it too seriously. To put it nicely, you were obedient. But to put it bluntly, you were a kid with an overactive imagination. Dad and the others were just trying to make you realize how important it was to be polite. I I saw it, though! I knew about it. I knew that Ushiramiya Kinzo was a scary person. I've even seen him yelling in anger. I'll never forget it. Well, like you saw just now, Grandfather can be a bit abrupt at times. He might just have been trying to surprise you. Or it might have slipped out when he was having a serious discussion with his kids. And you think I just got scared for no reason and got the wrong idea? That can't be. That can't be true. I mean, I still remember it. I know I saw Ushiramiya Kinzo yelling and being scary, and Mom and Dad were terrified too, so I know I'm right. The impression you had of Grandfather when you were young remained with you, and that impression grew inside you as you grew up. How many times did Angie see Kinzo in her life? How old was she when the last time she saw him? Angie, who got sick easily when under pressure, couldn't have gone to Rokunjima often. And since she was absent for the family conference when she was 6, her last memories of him must have come when she was just 5 years old. Actually, probably 4. Not even 5. I'm so fucking itchy. What the fuck? I gotta put on my cortisone cream. This is fucked up. I'm so fucking itchy. I hate eczema. This shit's fucked up, gang. Bum bum bum. Putting cortisone 10 on my skin in the middle of my Umineko stream. It's getting lathered, folks. There we go. Okay, that's gonna be much more bearable and tolerable. But even you haven't seen Ushiramiya Kinzo for 6 years. That's right. When I finally came back after 6 years, I saw that Grandfather hadn't changed in the slightest. Kinzo was fickle, so you could never understand what he was thinking. And he was an eccentric with a creepy love for the occult, and it's true that he had a love for the occult. Yeah, it was a bit of a strange hobby for him to get into in his final years. I'll admit that his hobby of collecting strange objects to scare his grandchildren and laugh at them wasn't exactly praiseworthy. Even Battler had been pranked by Kinzo in the past. He'd do things like showing off an attaché case with 7 strange stakes in it. Is that how you say that? Attaché? Is that only in the... Yeah, okay, I think I'm right. And say something about how they were once used in the Middle Ages to gouge the hearts of victims in a witch's ceremony. When Kinzo did things like that, it was pretty scary, but looking back on it now, they really were childish pranks. Grandfather only scared his grandchildren because he wanted to joke around with them. I'd be willing to bet that Grandfather pulled a prank like that on you too. It's no surprise that, young as you were, you let that scare you and convince you that Grandfather was a strange, terrifying person. I don't know what you're talking about, Oni-chan. Angie bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. She said she didn't understand, but in truth, she understood perfectly and was refusing to accept it. Remember how we traded Halloween presents in the parlor just now? What was that all about? The Ushiramiya family never did anything that sentimental. It's almost as though you don't remember it at all. Are you saying I got presents once too? I don't remember anything like that. That could never happen.
Do you really think that grandfather, a man who loved the occult and Western traditions, wouldn't celebrate Halloween? Grandfather's Happy Halloween was pretty much standard greeting at our family conferences. He must have said it to you too. Youth can be so cruel. Even though grandfather put all his heart in choosing those presents, it looks like your heart didn't remember anything. Are you saying that I was just too young to remember, and that was the truth of October 4th? On that day, just like 6 years before, grandfather entered the parlor with a cry of,
Happy Halloween!
Then he and I traded presents, and he shed tears over our long-awaited reunion after a 6-year gap. Grandfather seemed so sad that Angie wasn't able to come. So he gave Kairi-san a present, telling her to make sure that Angie got it. I never heard of anything about a present like that. Mom never gave it to me. True. She never had the chance. I don't believe it. I won't believe that was Ushiramiya Kinzo. Then what about the family conference itself? Wasn't there a tense argument over the distribution of the inheritance? All the adult siblings were in money trouble. That's why they all longed for Kinzo's inheritance money. Angie, where did you hear that from? What do you mean, where? It's the truth, isn't it? Do you think Dad would talk to you about financial difficulties of his company when you were that age? And not just Dad. Even if Uncle Kraus, Aunt Ava, and Aunt Rosa were in money trouble and wanted Kinzo's inheritance money, do you really think they'd talk about it in front of you? But it's true, isn't it? In the end, it was true. Angie's words were not mistaken. Not only Rudolph, but even Kraus, Hideyoshi, and Rosa had companies in money trouble. People started talking about the Rokujima explosion accident as though it was some sort of conspiracy, and a mystery imagined by the public covered the island. Weekly magazines and television shows researched the circumstances of Kinzo's children at the time, and in the future where Angie lived, that research had been made public. You learned about all of that after 1986. But it's a fact, isn't it? There's no difference between facts and truth. Doesn't that prove... Does that prove that the inheritance created a strained atmosphere between the relatives on Rokujima? I guess that might fit with your memory of your parents repeatedly telling you to be extra polite at the family conference. Are you saying that what I know about Rokujima, what I know about the Ushiramiya family, is wrong? You're the one who's wrong, Oni-chan. There's no way something like that could be possible. I won't accept that was Ushiramiya Kinzo. I could never accept that. I'm sad as hell right now. So you don't believe, Angie? That's right, I don't believe. I don't understand why you're showing me something like this. After all, this is your game. No, your game board, isn't it? First it was Beato and Byrne, one witch after another had sneered at my fate, trying to make me surrender in their games, but I want the truth. Witch illusions won't work on me. Now I get it, you damn wishes. So you've sent Oni-chan as the final assassin to finish me off. You're right. This is my game. So of course this is my tale, and I'm the one making it. That's why I'm able to add in what-if situations, like what would happen if you came to the island too? See? You made this tale. It's all a pack of lies, a fiction you created. You're right. This is all a fiction I created. See? You've admitted it. You have, haven't you? Just like I thought this is all a lie you made. Just like I thought, this is all a lie you made. Why are you lying to me?
Why won't you tell me the truth? Because there's something I need you to understand. Something more important than the truth. Something more important than the truth? What the hell are you talking about? The purpose of my game is to make you understand that. Just as Beato's games were to make Battler believe in witches, Battler's game was made to show Angie something that was more important than the truth. But what is it? Games never bring about their intended ends by force. After all, Beato's game could never be won for all eternity unless Battler acknowledged witches on his own. Battler's game was the same. Battler couldn't win in this game unless Angie acknowledged it herself. So, Battler had advanced this game just as Beato had done in the past. To believe it or not. To accept it or not. The decision lay solely in the hands of the opponent. And so, Battler was trying to enshroud Angie with his own illusion. I finally get it. This is a game between me and you, Oni-chan. Angie, I'm not trying to challenge you to a game. No, this is a game. I made a wish, hoping to learn the truth of October 4th, 1986, and so you invited me to this game, saying that you'd show me the truth. And now you're showing me this strange illusion, trying to make me believe that it's the truth? Well, too bad. I'm already used to dealing with witches. I can totally tell that you're trying to use that kind of face of yours to trick me. The big brother realized that no words of his would have any effect on his enraged little sister. So he just quietly listened to Angie's words. But even so, Angie was dissatisfied. I've had more than enough of this stupid farce. If you don't plan on telling me the truth, then end it all now. I'll find my own truth for myself. I won't rely on you. That's right. There never was anyone I could rely on anyway. I've always been all alone. Sorry. I won't let you leave this game. That's right. Unless the game master admits defeat, the game never ends, right? That isn't what I meant. I'm just telling you to stay quiet and listen. Oh, sure. I'll just stay quiet then. Even if a player isn't around, the pieces just move by themselves and the game moves forward. Isn't that how it works? That's right. A player can step back and become an observer for a while if they want. And they can return and join whenever they want to. Then I'll do that. This is an endurance contest. It'll keep on going until you stop trying to cover up the truth. Something more important than the truth? I don't get it. How could anything like that exist? It does, Angie. Whether my tale is the truth or not, the fact remains that you lost something precious on this island. Dad, Mom, and you, Oni-chan. I lost my family and everything that mattered to me. She spat out those words as though no further questioning would do any good, and looked away. Even as he watched this, Battler's expression remained gentle. Just keep going however you like. Later, Oni-chan. At least make sure you watch the tale. Even just listening is enough. If I feel like it, later. Angie's eyes clouded. Then, a particularly strong gust of wind blew by, sending her hair flying. The wind must have been carrying some dust with it. Angie's nose twitched and she sneezed loudly. Achoo! Oni-chan? What is it? How long are we gonna stand here? The weather's all weird. Let's go back to the guest house. Angie's eyes weren't cloudy anymore. However, the tone and atmosphere about those eyes seemed somehow different than from before. In a manner In a manner typical of young girls, Angie signaled that she was too bored and wanted to go do something. This Angie was clearly a 6-year-old Angie. Good point. Then why don't you head back to the guest house now? I'm going to stay here. Why? It'll start raining soon. It won't be long now. So I'll wait here a bit longer. You're waiting here? Who are you waiting for? Furudo Erika? Then, to Angie's eyes, it looked as though the strong winds were carrying flakes of gold along with them. No, she had definitely seen something, but she wasn't able to describe what she had seen. So to her, it seemed like flakes of gold dancing on the wind. So here you are. I've been waiting a while now. It was as though he was talking to the wind. Battler spoke to the empty rose garden. That can't be right. After all, it was clear from his words that he was talking to someone right in front of him. So Angie thought it must be someone that she alone couldn't see, and she rubbed her eyes. Then, when she opened her eyes, another large gust of wind blew past her. She shut her eyes immediately, and when she timidly opened them, from the other end of the rose garden, yes, from that path that led up from the harbor, a person appeared. To Angie, it looked as though she had appeared along with a cloud of gold flakes carried by the wind. Let's fucking go! You're late, Beato. Am I? I'd call it early. You should ride in the boat with us every now and then. You mean grasp the handrail and scream alongside you? Yeah, sure, let's scream. Fall, fall. I see, how interesting. Yes, I suppose I did arrive too late. The pair casually walked up to each other and hugged. Yay! Let's fucking go! It looked like a pair of friends being reunited after several years. Yeah, to me it basically has been. It's been fucking like 3 months since I've seen like regular-ass Beatrice. Angie, surprised by this unfamiliar woman, looked for somewhere to hide. However, her eyes met Beato's and she was unable to escape. Oh, and you must be Angie. She was shocked to hear this unfamiliar woman suddenly use her name. Look, even she can be so cute when she's 6 years old. Oni-chan, who is this person? A friend of mine. A friend? How can you say that? Oni-chan's friend. This is Beatrice. You've heard from grandfather, haven't you? About the Golden Witch who gave the Ushiramiya family its gold? Haven't I heard that before? The Golden Witch. Now I remember. That was the scary witch who would snatch you up and carry you off into the forest if you didn't listen to your parents or stayed up too late on Rokonjima. Mom said that on rainy nights, if you look out the window at the dark forest, you might see the witch looking back at you and get snatched away. Which must mean that I'm supposed to be wandering about in the cold rain, looking into each window to find kids staying up too late. How pathetic that would be. Good point. Angie, your parents just made that story up to get you to go to bed on time. Beatrice doesn't do stuff like that. Very well, allow me to introduce myself. I am Beatrice, the Golden Witch. It's so weird seeing this. She's so happy this year.
Is there any other secrets here? I think that one's new. Just want to make sure we're good. Or her grandchild, at least. Grandchild? That grandchild part's a bit of a killjoy. Well, it's true, isn't it? The person that grandfather got the gold from and called the Golden Witch was your grandmother, right? I guess. The grandchild of the Golden Witch, am I? I can't get a better title than that. Is this person a witch? Yep, she is. She's a guest who has been invited to the family conference today. She isn't a scary witch. She's not gonna take me away to the forest. Damn Rudolph and Kyrie. Just what do they think they're telling this kid about me? I don't do things like that. I'll lodge a firm protest later. She looked like a fiercely emotional person, but she wasn't at all what Angie expected the creepy Golden Witch to be like. She was very loud, overreacting to everything. Nothing at all like the witch Maria One-chan had talked about, who lived for 1,000 years and had various servants in the demon world. She looked, well, like an energetic young woman, the kid Angie's mom might have gotten along great with. Her brother and the witch talked together happily like a pair of close friends. They were roommates, you see. Dogs tend not to trust people they meet for the first time. However, people say that they calm down once they see that their owner is on good terms with the stranger. Surely, something similar to this is going on in Angie's heart. Angie is not a dog, gang. Angie kept staring at this pushy, temperamental woman who called herself a witch as she chatted happily with her brother. This is so weird. What's this key for? Ooh, she knows what's going on. Beato noticed the gold key hanging from Angie's neck. Angie automatically and defensively grasped it. That's Angie's precious key. After hearing these vague words, the witch stared blankly for a second, but almost immediately, she seemed to understand what he meant. Ah, I see. Is that how it is? I thought it'd be easier to understand if I made it clear what she's supposed to do. Fear not, Angie. No one's going to steal your precious key. Are you sure? Of course. That key belongs to you and the choice is yours. Battler and the rest of us are merely signposts to guide you on your path. When her brother gave her the key, he said that it was very important, so she had to take good care of it. Angie didn't have a clue what the key was for, but it looked like Beato did. However, just like her brother had done earlier, Beato only spoke in riddles. This irritated Angie, but for the time being, the Golden Witch said that she didn't intend to steal the key, so Angie calmed down a little. Do you know what this key is used for? But of course. However, I cannot tell you. Why not? Because you must decide how to use that key for yourself. The witch said the same thing as my brother. The pair nodded to each other, but it was all Greek to me. It felt like someone had laid out a riddle that everyone knew but me, and everyone was making fun of me. You'll know soon enough. Don't waste time thinking about it. Angie held the key tightly. Even if she didn't understand what it meant, it was her own key, and her big brother had told her to take good care of it. With her youthful suspicion, she was scared that the witch might ask her to hand it over.
saying that she'd teach her how to use it. Of course, her thoughts showed up clearly on her face. The witch couldn't help but laugh at that honest expression. Fear not. It is impossible for anyone to steal that key from you. No one can steal it? You might say it has been imbued with magic to make it so. At any rate, fear not. Neither I nor Battler nor anyone else on this island can steal that key away from you. Really? Yeah, really. The magic won't let them. The key was hanging around her neck like an ordinary necklace. Angie could take it off right now if she wanted, and if an adult tried to use force, it seemed like it would be easy for them to take it away. However, both her brother and the witch said it was protected by a magic that would stop anyone from stealing it. Does magic really exist? Even the 6-year-old Angie knew about the word magic. However, she also realized that magic didn't exist, and that certain kinds of magic tricks were sometimes called magic. However, her brother and the witch were talking about magic itself. Yeah, magic exists. Really? Maria spoke of me often, did she not? She says that witches exist. And she often tells you that magic exists, correct? True, Maria had talked about it many times. When they were just playing, Angie had believed her, more or less. However, Angie was, in some ways, sharp for her age. And when she heard Maria talking happily about magic, she sometimes thought that such a thing couldn't really exist. Then show me. Show me magic, or I won't believe you. Hold up a second. What? Beato just arrived on the island, and she hasn't even gone to say hi to everyone at the mansion yet. Battler spoke as though he was trying to smooth something over. When she heard that, Angie became sure that magic didn't exist after all. Magic is just a bunch of lies. I know. Hey, stop that. You'll hurt Beato's feelings. No, it's no problem. Anyone would say that upon meeting a witch. Normally, I would ignore provocation from such a small child, but she is your little sister, after all. Why don't we give her a special showing? Are you sure? Of course I am. Watch carefully, Angie. Oh, okay. Though Angie had challenged the witch, now that she was about to be shown magic, she looked a bit hesitant. She gulped, then stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand, bringing it close to Angie's face. Then she slowly spread her fingers. Angie, thinking that she was about to be turned into a frog, shrank back. However, after waiting a while and grinding her teeth, she realized that nothing was happening. So the part of her that had been scared began to get angry. Nothing's happening. Don't jump to conclusions. I haven't used magic yet. See? Look carefully at my palm. I'm not hiding anything, correct? Oh, so that's what she's doing. Now that she finally understood, Angie checked both sides of the witch's hand. Yeah, there's nothing there. Watch closely. I'll make a fist. And then stretch out my index finger. Ooh, she's got the ring on. She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Angie's eyes. Angie, thinking that she'd lose the game if she took a step back, stood her ground and concentrated on the fingertip. Watch the tip of my finger closely. Ready? It'll be fast. The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Angie looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, up, down, left, right, then left again. Angie, feeling as though she'd lose if she couldn't keep up with the fingertip, swung her face this way and that, looking serious. Ever since she was very young, Angie hated to lose. She would take even the most trivial game seriously, determined not to lose to the adults. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Angie didn't lose track of it. Then, the high-pointing finger was swung down all of a sudden. The index finger curled up again, and the hand was held in a simple fist. Could it be that something was going to come out of that hand? Angie, who had suspected that this might happen, had followed the finger very closely. There was no way that this once empty hand could have grabbed anything. Ready? I'm going to open my hand. The witch slowly opened her right fist. And there. Didn't she just switch hands? What? What? How? How, Oni-chan? The witch gave out a cutely wrapped candy to Angie as a present. Angie took it and desperately searched for some kind of trick on it, but it was just an everyday, ordinary candy. Did she switch hands on Angie and she believed it? How? That was a trick, wasn't it, Oni-chan? Oni-chan? Nope, that was magic. You were just watching the whole time, weren't you? Since I was watching the whole time, how did it happen? Angie didn't like it, but she was unable to see that how that could have been anything other than magic. As the little sister furrowed her brow and bit her lower lip, her brother gently told her again that it was magic. It's about time for me to head to the mansion and pay my respects. You should come along, Battler. I'll suffocate if I have to go alone. Oh, please go together. Are you sure? Then I'll join you. What about you, Angie? Will you go back to the guest house? I want to stay with you, Oni-chan. She still couldn't accept it. However, could it really be? She still looked grumpy. But it looked like she was getting interested in this witch. Then let us go. The Golden Witch returns. The Golden Witch's grandchild returns, you mean? We really need to do something about that name. The big brother and the witch really did seem close. With kindred spirits like a pair of comedians, they started walking. Angie held onto the corner of her brother's sleeve, trying to make sure that he didn't forget about her. Umineko no Naku Koro ni Chiru, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Yay! Beatrice Battler. Okay, that's interesting. Where is this going? I do know I have to make a choice at the end, but I wonder which way it's gonna send me. But I'm wondering if it almost wants me to give in to the idea of magic. But then Beatrice wins. Is that cool with me? The VIP room was filled with the sweet smell of pumpkin tea and packed with smiles and laughter.
Simply splendid. I am glad to see you in such high spirits.
I could say the same for you. What an idiot. What idiot said you're reaching your last years?
I just borrow a bit of cheer from you. Once I return to my study, I will be little more than a withering, senile old man.
Enough with your lies. Give it up and swear that you'll be living at large until you're 100. Same here. I haven't seen you for 6 years, but I was surprised to see how little you'd changed.
You little brat. So it seems you've learned flattery during these past 6 years. Sorry to disappoint you, but you're hardly a fair judge in the matter. I have grown quite old indeed.
I'll bet 1,000 yen that Kinzo's still doing great when he turns 100. Yeah, me too. Grandfather won't be any different when he's 100.
Don't think you'll get any more presents for complimenting me.
Kinzo laughed cheerily. Beato, who sat next to Battler, was also laughing merrily. Angie stood all alone by the window, staring at the others and trying to figure out what sort of relationship the witch of the portrait and her grandfather had. There was a knock on the door.
Is that you? Is that you, Genji? Come in.
Pardon the intrusion. Kraus-sama and Natsui-sama are here. Father, Battler-kun's here too. It has been some time, Battler-san. Has there been any news? I'm just the way I used to be. Come on, have a seat. And Angie, why are you standing by the window like that? Come over here and sit down. Angie, come over here. I'll just watch from here. Angie grasped the candy she had gotten from Beato tightly. I'm starting to get tired. I might end soon. My bedtime is a little earlier right now. With a gaze that was still wary, she continued to stare. Genji offered her a chair, but Angie just shook her head.
Let her do as she pleases. Come, Kraus, Natsui, and have a seat as well.
Is it something important? I guess Angie and I should leave. Hey, if you leave, who's going to back me up here? Kinzo, if you don't mind if Battler stays, do you?
I have nothing to hide. I cannot.
However, he had called Kraus and Natsui to the VIP room to meet Beatrice, the Golden Witch. It was hard to imagine that Kinzo wanted to have a casual conversation. After Kinzo said he didn't mind, Beato asked Battler to stay, and so he decided to do so. In order to avoid getting in the way of their conversation, Battler stood up from the sofa and walked over to Angie's window. When the big brother finally came to back Angie, she clung to his waist, as though determined not to let him go away again. Oh, I see. That must be why Angie doesn't like me. Huh? What do you mean? Angie doesn't dislike you, does she? You really don't understand women, Battler. Bro, I feel like my face is fucking twitching. Why am I twitching? Probably the coffee. I drank a lot of coffee today. Beato smiled at Angie, but the latter turned to look the other way. Even a young woman is a woman nonetheless. When Beato stopped laughing, the conversation switched gears. Why on earth did Kinzo summon Kraus and Natsui to the VIP room, and what was he going to talk about? Everyone fell automatically silent.
Golden Witch Beatrice. Each and every day I remember the debt the Ushiramiya family owes from when it was saved from the brink of destruction.
Yeah, you'd better thank me. Well, it's actually your grandmother he's thanking. Shut up, you. No, it comes to the same thing. All of that gold has been lent to the Ushiramiya family for 3 generations, and without cost. We truly cannot be grateful enough. The gold bars are the same as bricks to me. I had nowhere else to put them, so it was a relief to have Kinzo hold on to them. I'd like to say, just once before I die. Is the golden... I'd like to say that once before I die. Is the Golden Witch a rich person? Well, yeah. After all, she went and lent grandfather 10 tons of gold.
Precisely. I've been borrowing it for several decades, always planning to return it someday. It is a debt I will never be able to fully repay.
The head family has never forgotten its gratitude. Isn't that right, dear? Of course. If the Beatrices hadn't kindly lent it to us for 3 generations, the Oshiramiya family would have fallen long ago. Even someone as shrewd as father couldn't have done anything without the funds to start with.
By now, my money is making money, and the gold that made up my original funds can sleep in peace. Kraus, do you know what I am about to say?
Since the moment Kraus had been summoned here, he guessed what Kinzo was hinting at now. All things borrowed must be returned someday. That day had finally come. Yes, I understand, father.
Beatrice, I do not have many years ahead of me. In fact, this may be the last family conference that we will attend together.
How faint-hearted you sound. You must be joking. Beato alone laughed. She looked at Battler, so he laughed along with her, but Kinzo and the others had remained silent. Apparently, there existed some major concerns about Kinzo's health.
Of course, I do not intend to die as soon as next year. However, I don't believe I can make any certain promises about meeting you again. I never make promises I cannot keep.
If you say it so proudly like that, I'm in no position to disagree. Are you serious about this? Oh my god, the indigestion is fucking slaughtering me. Sorry, Yang.
Beatrice, I want to make amends, and I must do it while I am still in high spirits. For that reason, I made a decision today.
What? I'm not reading him right, but I also don't really fucking care. What's grandfather talking about? Quiet. Grandfather is about to talk about something very important. By now, even Battler understood what Kinzo was about to propose. Beato probably realized it too. At one time... Why are we getting red text? The Ushiramiya family had ruled the skies like an eagle before being crushed by the Great Kanto earthquake. The eagle had one of its wings torn off and it crawled in the mud on the point of death. Then they were saved by the Golden Witch's golden miracle. Under the Golden Witch's protection, the eagle had nursed its wounds for many years, and now, finally, it was time for the eagle to leave the nest the witch had provided.
I will return all of the gold that your grandmother lent me. Kraus, you have no objections, correct? That gold did not belong to the Ushiramiya family in the first place.
Of course. I have no objections whatsoever. Are you sure, Kraus? You're an investor, aren't you? You could always do with more money, right? You want Kinzo to hand the gold over to you? Ha ha ha. Yes, now that you mention it, it's hard to deny what you say. However, the contract was always between you and father, and the gold was yours to begin with. My husband is the successor, after all. Just as father rebuilt the family in one generation, I am sure my husband will make the family thrive in his. And this is something the two of us will do together.
Well said. Yes, that's the spirit.
So letting go of 10 tons of gold leaves you with no regrets. I must say that is quite impressive. What can a witch do against an opponent who cannot be swayed by the golden magic?
I will return the gold to you, but the Ushiramiya family will always be supremely indebted to Beatrice, the Golden Witch.
They would return the gold once they They would return the gold once lent by the Golden Witch. It was both simple and clear. However, the expression worn by the Golden Witch herself was slightly lonely. Angie couldn't understand why this was. After all, if you're returning it, I cannot simply say, I don't want it, take it back. Oh well. Beato rose from the sofa. Then she walked up to the window and looked down at the rose gardens waving in the wind.
Kraus, I have also decided to present you and the others with my inheritance while I still live.
Father,
when I die, you will not only be busy with the funeral, but I imagine that you will have Ava and the others at your throats over the inheritance issue. If all is divided now, the funeral will be less trying for you. Kraus, write this down. And Genji, please be our secretary. I will now lay out the distribution of my assets.
How's he gonna do it? Kinzo immediately began explaining how the inheritance would be split up. Battler, realizing that he shouldn't be listening in on this conversation, walked over to where Beato was loitering by the window. Oh, we're not gonna find out yet. Or at all, for that matter. Hey, rich person. If you've got too much gold on your hands, I'd be happy to lighten the load. Gold would be more useful if you turned it into firewood and used it to cook a stew. What's the matter? You're looking a bit bored. So this day has finally come. I do feel a bit lonely. You do? My magic revived the Ushiramiya family and created Rokenjima. And now it seems the Ushiramiya family no longer has any need for the power of my gold. It has taken flight, leaving the nest of my magic behind. True. That's how it turned out. I have called Rokenjima the Witch's Island. My island. Yeah. And now Rokenjima is returning the gold to me. The day has come for Rokenjima to awaken from my magic. That's true. I knew that this would be the last game. However, now that we've reached this point, even in a manner such as this, it's surprisingly painful. You're the type of person who looks totally carefree, but who's actually full of lingering attachments and regrets. The cruel and obstinate ones are usually the quickest to grow attached, and then to feel lonely. That's right. That's the kind of person you are. It was a game for you and me. It was fun. A great game you polished to perfection during those 6 years. I once likened it to an eternal torture for the both of us. Eternity is happiest when you can still believe that it's eternal, but all things must end, and we have to be aware of that. So we must not avert our eyes. Just as the sun always rises, there's no sun that doesn't set. Of course, Angie didn't have the slightest idea what her brother and the witch were talking about. However, even as young as she was, she could feel that the pair had spent an incredibly long time together, and that they understood each other so well that they might as well be a married couple. Yay! They're getting married. Then, Beato noticed her reaction. Angie, at one point, the two of us wove games for each other. However, that time is now over. This game has been made, not for our sake, but for yours. They were speaking in riddles again. Grasping the key that hung by her chest, Angie looked at her brother's face. We need to show you the contents of the cat box this day. That key I gave you is for opening it. What do you mean by cat box? He means this day. With the miracle of magic, I've brought you to the day you wanted to reach so much. You must continue telling the story of this day as the final witch. Does that mean I mustn't remain here? Angie's tone was slightly tense. She understood what her brother meant. It made her frown. Just how long have I suffered, wishing I could return to the Rokonjima of 1986, and now I finally made it here, so why are you chasing me out? You said I could decide for myself. That's right, I did say that. I'm not leaving, and please stop trying to spoil me with this strange made-up game. I want to know the truth of this day. She's a moody girl, but in 12 years in the future or in the past... Be it 12 years in the future or in the past. Shut up, I didn't ask you. And what the hell do you think you're doing here? Didn't the Golden Witch come here to perform her resurrection ceremony? Didn't you appear on the island with a crash of thunder and try to offer up 13 people as sacrifices? Why are you acting so happy and casual? It doesn't make sense. You're the one that doesn't make sense. What are you thinking? Do you want me to be a murderer? You wrote it down in a tale, sealed it in a message bottle, and threw it into the sea. 2 of those were discovered later on. Both of them were stories of cruel serial murders. What a shame that only 2 of them made it to the shore. How sad that land, my greatest masterpiece, was never seen by human eyes. I've been wanting to ask this for a while, but what's up with those message bottles? As I was working out the details for my game against you, I began creating those tales along the way. Once I realized that I could create endless different tales out of the same game board, it really started to get fun. So you wrote them down, hoping that I'd read them someday. Precisely. They were so good I couldn't bear to wait for your return. Inspired by Agatha Christie, I tried sealing them in bottles and throwing them into the ocean. Mysterious, don't you think? Don't mock me. Those were plans for the crime. You used the location of the hidden gold to fan out discontent between the family members as you plan out your brutal serial murders. Sheesh. Is that what I've become in the year 1998? Well, I guess I can't blame them. Huh? What's with this sudden change of character? Is this some scheme to make me let my guard down? I'm not gonna be fooled so easily, Beatrice. Oni-chan, you want to make me surrender and say that witches exist, don't you? You think I'll fall for that? I'll find the truth without your help. Even though that the truth is all around you right now. You once called yourself Gretel. But it seems the name Mytil would be more fitting. Enough! Is that a... Okay, we did all this. We did Mytil and Title. They really reference this a lot in Umineko. Angie tried to slap Beato's cheek. What the fuck? However, the difference between their heights was so great that Beato dodged before the hand could reach her. Stupid! I won't accept it. I'll never acknowledge this farce as the truth. After Angie yelled those words, her eyes grew cloudy. They cleared up almost immediately. By that time, she had already gone back to her 6-year-old self. You're right, Angie. This is the sin I left behind, and the reason for this final tale's existence. As Angie stared blankly, uncomprehending, Beato gently patted her head. Indeed, this tale is a farce. Of course it isn't the truth. However, there is something that he feels he must tell you. Something he's so determined to convey that he went to such lengths. Beato, I'm already showing her. I don't want to force it on her. I see. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm sleepy. True. We should probably go take a nap. Kinzo, must I remain here longer?
My apologies, but I must ask you to stay for just a bit. Moving on. Kraus, the continued support of the Fukuin house should be viewed as your responsibility as the Ushiramiya family head.
What a pain. Forgive me, Battler. It seems I cannot go with you. Genji, would you mind taking these two to the guest house?
As you wish. Battler-sama, Angie-sama, please follow me.
Thanks. See you later, Beato. Of course. I have a mountain of things I wish to discuss with you, and I'd like to have some time alone tonight. We must act the part of a married couple every now and then. What do you mean, act the part of a married couple? What do you mean, act the part of a married couple? I remember I had a theory, like, way back that Angie was Battler and Beatrice's child, but this has actually been disproven. Because Angie had gotten so bored, she had grown very sleepy. It would probably be best for her to take a quick nap. Battler walked through the windy rose garden, pulling her by the hand. When he questioned their guide, Genji, he learned that the old servant had known beforehand of Kinzo's desire to return the gold to Beato and settle the inheritance problem early.
The master decided to start preparations early for his final task in this world, the ending of his life.
Most people don't think much about what happens after they die. Guess grandfather just lives on a whole different scale.
Today marks the start of a new flight, when the Ushiramiya family will depart from the Golden Witch's patronage.
That's true. That's a pretty cool way to say it. Apparently, a grand Halloween party was to be held tonight, and Goda and the others had been ordered to start getting ready for it. However, it wouldn't just be a party. It would be a ceremony to mark the return of Beatrice's gold. At the start of the dinner, grandfather would make the announcement, and the 3 generations of Beatrices would be thanked for their gift to the family with a round of applause. Apparently, this was what they had planned. Are we still keeping this a secret from Dad and the others?
Technically, it is a secret. However, the master did not suddenly begin thinking in this way today. He has considered this day many times over many years and has even discussed certain matters with his children. I doubt that any will be surprised to hear this night's announcement. Apparently, my old bastard's been running all over the place trying to get money for his company. I guess he'll be dancing around when he hears that grandfather's giving him his part of the inheritance early. A nice present for him. I'd rather think the great responsibility is what will spur him on. Ever since Rudolph Sama left the island, he has succeeded splendidly. However, his success so far has been supported by the master's wealth. And now that he's suddenly getting his inheritance money, he'll have to keep going by his own strength all alone in the future. That's some nice pressure for him. The siblings must have decided for decades because of their father's excess of success and ability. Simply having a parent who is too successful can be a great burden to a child. Yes, it can be. And tonight, they'll be leaving the nest,
truly becoming adults for the first time. It seems the master plans to call this night a gold returning ceremony. However, he originally intended to call it a living funeral. Sounds pretty depressing, having a funeral while you're still alive. I'll admit that calling it a day and to start a new journey and leave the nest fits the Ushiramiya family much better. Oni-chan, I'm sleepy. Look, we're almost to the guest house. Do you want to go to Mom's room? Or to the cousin room? I don't care. I'll sleep until dinner. Angie, still holding her brother's hand, crouched down and looked as though she was about to fall asleep. Battler lifted her up and carried her. As she felt the warmth and safety of her brother's back, Angie drifted off into sleep. What happened that day? Just what on earth happened on October 4th and 5th, 1986? Because of the massive size of the Rokkenjima explosion accident, the time of the explosion was known almost exactly, down to the minute. That time was October 5th, midnight. The sheer improbability of that round number proved that the accident had been produced by artificial means. Later on, the following statements were collected from individuals who knew Ushiramiya Kinzo when he was still alive. During his lifetime, Ushiramiya Kinzo built a clock rigged to blow up the island at exactly midnight. This clock was apparently inside his secret study. When he felt mentally cornered and wanted to think up a brilliant plan, he would activate that switch and use the tension of the approaching midnight to bring some flash of inspiration to him. While Ushiramiya Kinzo still lived, this was only thought of as a tall tale about this eccentric man. But the fact the Rokkenjima explosion accident occurred at exactly midnight supported the story. It sounds crazy. Oh fuck, this guy's a Yinzer accent. Can I do a Yinzer accent? He must have had hopes to gain some sort of mystical power from those short periods of madness. If we call this source of high output mental power, this story isn't that difficult to swallow. Professor Otsuki spoke passionately. Witch hunters, enthusiasts who treat the mad fantasy surrounding Rokkenjima as their plaything. Angie had no reason to love these people who embellished the deaths of her Rokkenjima of her family just for the fun of it. Where'd I get the word Rokkenjima from? What the fuck? How ironic it was to Angie, who wanted to know what happened that day. That such people knew more about that island than anyone else. If someone used that device, the island would be blown away without a trace. There'd be nothing left. No matter what had happened there, they could erase it. Theories that Ushiramiya Eva was the ringleader of some conspiracy sprang up very early on. However, no one was able to explain how she set off such a massive explosion. And the rigged clock proves that such a thing was possible. Correct. We can theorize that Ushiramiya Eva, fully aware of the timing and unexpected radius of the explosion, took refuge in Kuidorian and that. To get all the family wealth to herself, she killed everyone and used the explosion to remove all the evidence. That idea provides the most logical explanation for the Rokkenjima theory. It also confirms that the fact that Eva never spoke to anyone about the events of that day. Where was that rigged clock and how did Eva find it? Several forgeries have speculated on this matter. There's no need for me to waste time thinking about it. Eva activated the clock device, hid in Kuidorian to escape the blast, and was therefore the only one to survive. That was everything. The answer, which eloquently told the whole story.
When Ava first adopted me, our relationship wasn't that bad at all. I asked her several times what happened on that day. Every time she answered, it was to say that she didn't remember. But, well, she must have been flustered at that time. The very first time I asked, she answered like this. I can't tell you about it. It was a slip of the tongue. She knew what happened on that day, and she left this world without telling even a bit of the truth. She sealed the truth in a cap box and left this world, taking the key with her. So what I'm confused about is this somehow... How is... By what means is Angie just now having the ability to discover this truth? What really is happening in Umineko? What is really happening in Umineko? I need to, when I reread Umineko, like, it's gonna be a lot of, like, spirit world analysis shit. It's gonna be a lot of analysis and boring things. She was behind everything. She got to keep all the family wealth to herself and became super rich. And afterwards, she lamented the fact that her beloved son would never inherit any of what she had created. And she cursed me. Just remembering that old bitch makes me want to vomit. What happened that day? That's what I want to know. It's my only goal, the one reason I'm still alive. However, later on, I had to come to grips with the fact that my goal was an abstract one. After all, though I don't know what happened on that day, if it's a question of who did the crime, that's already clear. Ushiramiya Eva. She's the culprit. That has never changed since the beginning. That's right. I'm not trying to find out what happened that day. I'm trying to find out what Ushiramiya Eva did that day. If I can reveal that, then I can expose Ava's evil, even though she's already dead. That is my true goal. The police also suspected that the accident might be a crime, and they did investigate. However, no matter how much they inspected the crater that had once been Rokunjima, they didn't find anything at all. None of these people's deaths have even been guaranteed in the Red Truth. What if they all escaped? And it's all gonna be like a joke for Angie, because they were all punishing her for, like, skipping the family conference. We knew you were skipping the family conference, Ava. Or Angie, so we decided to skip your life for 18 years. The public and the witch hunters cornered Ava with several bits of circumstantial evidence, but not a single bit of physical evidence was found. Though Ava was only the merest fraction of a shade away from guilty, they were yawning. They were unable to expose her crime. My goal isn't anything as vague as learning what happened that day. It's to expose the crime Ushiramiya Eva committed that day, and to have my revenge. I haven't been able to expose Ushiramiya Eva's crime, so people are acting as though the events on the island were all done by some bizarre golden witch. Defeating the golden witch means exposing Ushiramiya Eva's sin. I won't forgive Ushiramiya Eva. I'll certainly hate her and take revenge from my family. When you seek revenge, dig 2 graves, girly pop. That is Ushiramiya Angie's one and only reason for living.
If she knew you hated her that much, the president would probably be rolling around laughing in the next world.
Shut up. I'll expose that old bitch's crime. I won't accept that it was a perfect crime with all traces blown away. I'll never do that.
In other words, this journey of yours is a journey to take revenge for your family.
Got a problem with that?
You must be joking. It's great to know that you have a purpose in life.
Could you please turn that freaking city pop off? Oh.
You don't like Mzaki?
Amakusa turned the radio off. The dull sound of the engine became the BGM that filled the car. Is it really so strange, fighting for revenge?
Not really. Out on the front, I met people who lived for that reason over and over.
You've been on battlefields many times as a mercenary, right?
Well, I've seen a few.
So are people who fight to take revenge for their families strong?
No doubt about it. Some people even strap bombs to themselves and commit suicide to take revenge for their families.
Humans are more than capable of dying for vengeance. That's right. I could do it too.
Have you heard of child soldiers?
You mean kids who fight like soldiers?
That's not quite it. It means literal child soldiers, Angie.
Kids who've lost their parents and then they got nowhere to go, so they sometimes get picked up by these groups of armed insurgents and become soldiers. And sometimes, in the year 2012, they'll make like a really hit video about this that will like take over the world for 2 weeks, and then everyone will forget, and the guy who made the video will just enter psychosis, and we'll call it Coney 2012. And it'll be like a whole weird thing that nobody really remembers, except I'm Googling it right now, so I can remember learning about Jonas Savimbi or whatever. No, that was a different guy. That was Joseph Kony. Savimbi was a guy in Namibia. Whatever happened to Joe? I think he died. No, he's still alive. They made a follow-up? I didn't even know that. I'm just looking in about Cody 2012 now. This was so freaking huge. Okay. Sorry for my child soldiers Pier slop moment.
They get a gun thrust in their hands and they're taught how to take revenge, man. But in the end, children are expendable. Anyone can be a soldier in a battlefield if they can pull a trigger.
Are you trying to say I'm like that?
Revenge can be a reason for living. It can also give you the strength to become a soldier. Like a miracle, it can turn a girl who could do nothing but sob over her parents' corpses into a soldier almost overnight. Nothing gives you more power than revenge.
I guess so. And that's what I'm like.
Do you know about the child soldier problem?
No.
Child soldiers who are given their guns and taught how to take revenge make that their reason for living.
And as I've said, if you seek revenge, dig 2 fucking graves. Who said that? I think it's a proverb? Not Confucius. Unattributed, I believe.
Well, that's not exactly right. It becomes their reason for firing their guns. But revenge is something that never ends. At some point, they no longer have any reason to keep shooting.
What do you mean?
They once shot for revenge, but eventually they keep on shooting for no reason at all.
You mean they forget about taking revenge?
When revenge is impossible, they eventually get tired of it and forget their original goals. When that happens, they have nothing except their guns. Eventually, they'll keep shooting just so they can eat.
You're saying that child soldiers who started using guns for revenge end up as bandits or something?
After all, they've never even gone to school, and they haven't been taught any useful skills as far as employment goes.
They only learned how to shoot guns, and they were only ever praised when they killed the enemy.
Eventually, your reason for living stops being revenge. It becomes the means once you used to take revenge. The means you once used to take revenge. It's sad, really.
Are you saying that I'll eventually get tired of revenge and, would it be in my case?
You'll get tired of exposing the truth, and you'll eventually become a person who could do nothing but hate Ushira Eva.
Well, that's true already. You got a problem with it?
Come to think of it, that's right.
I'm not sure what Amakusa is trying to say. It's simple, Angie. If you seek revenge, dig 2 graves. Well, in your case, it might be more like 20-something graves. Does Cannon get a grave? Nah. You can bury Cannon in like a shoebox or something and put him next to Shannon. And the shoebox has nothing in it. Probably something annoying. So I'm not interested. Revenge is pointless. Is that what you're trying to say?
You still have a long life ahead of you, lady. With your truth, with your youth, you could do anything. I get the feeling that this journey might be a waste of that precious youth.
It's none of your business. I've already jumped once, remember? Off that huge skyscraper.
And you only barely made it out of that alive.
Back then, I died. So I'm already a ghost. And my only purpose is to expose the truth of that day, to take revenge on my family's enemy.
Sheesh. That's an iron will you've got there, lady.
There's no way a flippant man like you could understand how I feel. After that, Amakusa was forced to shut his mouth. He shrugged, but Angie didn't see. Even so, Amakusa spoke once more.
On the first day we started this journey, you said something. You said you wanted to know what happened on that island on that day.
It's the same now. What's changed?
Now you're saying you want to know what happened on that island that day so you can expose Ushira Eva's crime.
And isn't that exactly the same?
Well, that's true, but...
I'm tired, so I'll sleep now. Would you mind staying quiet for a bit? Tell me when we get there.
Roger that.
I wasn't particularly tired, really. I just said that because I didn't like talking about this.
Don't become one. A child soldier.
Angie, who had decided to feign sleep, ignored him. But Amakusa kept talking. He wanted to make sure she heard at least this much.
You started on a journey to learn the truth, and it's becoming more and more a journey of revenge. A journey to have revenge by exposing the truth. But, as you know, there's nothing left on Rokenshima. There aren't even any traces left. Exposing the truth might not be a picnic.
I know what Amakusa's trying to say. The police searched the scene so thoroughly just after the crime, and even they weren't able to find any physical evidence proving that Ushira Eva was the culprit. And a full 12 years have passed since then. If the truth could be discovered by a girl like me, waving wads of cash around to pick up a bit of info from those who were somehow related to the incident, then someone would have exposed the truth long ago. I might not be able to reach the truth. If so, then my first desire, my desire to expose the truth, will probably fade away. After that, only my hatred for Eva will remain. Just like those child soldiers who forgot their original purpose and live just to shoot, I'll forget my original purpose and live just to hate. I'll do nothing but despise Ushiramiya Eva, but my goal, exposing the truth for revenge, will be gone. So hating Ushiramiya Eva will become my whole life. Is there any difference between shooting for revenge and shooting to live? When you pull the trigger, someone dies either way. What about my case? Is there any difference between hating Ava as I expose the truth and hating Ava after I've given up? There's no difference. In the end, whether I find the truth or not, I'll just keep on cursing Ava over and over until I die. No, Angie, you have to find your forgiveness. What a crappy... She's already dead. What's the point in hating her? But now that's all I have left. Ushiramiya Eva stole my family, so I'll take revenge by exposing her crimes and showing the world. My consciousness was slowly drifting away into sleep. Why is Oni-chan showing me such a bizarre Rokunjima? Is this supposed to be the truth? Enough of this farce. Why is even Oni-chan trying to hide the truth from me? I'm trying to find it so I can avenge him and the others. Or would Oni-chan say the same thing as Amakusa? That revenge is meaningless, so I should stop. Is that why he's speaking in riddles? Trying to make everything more confusing? Battler is Amakusa. That's none of his business. I'm not trying to take revenge for their sakes. I'm doing it for my sake, too. After all, that's the only reason I'm still alive. Taking revenge is my reason to live. I don't have a clue what Oni-chan is thinking. Umineko no naku koro ni chiru. Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. That's where we're going to end for today. Feels like a good place to stop. We'll continue tomorrow. Well, first we'll see what's going on here, but... Rain. Happy noise. Okay, this is still going to be wholesome and fun, and there's going to be no problems, and the game's going to have a happy ending, where, like... I'll be happy and satisfied and not cry. Alrighty, well... I will see you guys tomorrow. Good fucking bye.